have described her talent as awesome, even frightening. But that's not all they talk about. There's that picture of the 1977 New York Yankees enshrined in her violin case. The camel filters never far from the sheet music. The tag sale fashion and the don't give a damn walk. There's the beer, the bourbon, and the billiards. And then there's that face. A face which mirrors the emotion of every note, every phrase, turning a mere performance into a kind of personal exorcism.
I get good reviews for my playing. And in addition, they go, she acts really weird, but she's a valid artist.
Really weird doesn't somehow seem to apply.
She acts
on that
unconventional,
stage.
unconventional.
Uh-huh.
That's the whole thing, it's unconventional.
So what do they want to do? Kind of make you sort of Liza Doolittle view?
Yeah, I think so. I feel possessed sometimes when I play. And I don't know what my right cheek is doing. I have really more important things to think about.
You feel possessed?
Yeah. Sometimes in certain pieces, I cannot believe that this guy thought up this theme. Unbelievable.
For example?
Brahms Concerto. Now that's an intense piece. There are certain passages here and there in that piece that are like, you know, God must have approved it. It's unbelievable. And sometimes I start shaking, and sometimes I get all teary, and then my mascara runs down the here, and it looks great. If I could find somebody I loved as much as I love that piece, we'd probably get married.
Nadja Salerno-Sonnenberg was born in Rome of an American mother and a Russian father who abandoned the family when Nadja was only 3 months old. Her mother, Josephine, a piano teacher, bought her a violin when she was 5. 3 years later, she arrived in America for advanced training in violin and other things.
Always she wanted to play baseball. She wanted to discover the world, which I let her do after she practiced. But really, she had an incredible love for music. My father would tell her stories of the operas, and she would react. I mean, at 2 years of age, she'd cry.
Nadja was enrolled in a tough inner-city high school where she was regularly beaten up, trying to protect herself and her violin.
And I said to her, you know, this can either make you or break you as a person. It's up to you. And the first year was incredible for her. It was absolutely incredible. She just would come home and cry, and Nadja's not that kind of a person.
Do you think she would have been developed differently, been a different person, had you not had to raise her by yourself?
Who can say? She would borrow fathers as a child. She borrowed one father who would take all the kids ice skating on Saturday morning, and another father would coach the baseball team. And this is how she made her way.
I've never once thought, oh, God, I wish I had a father. Because I just didn't grow up with it. It's like some kids grow up without a television. They know it exists, but they've adjusted. I'm sure he knows what I'm doing. He knows who I am.
He does?
Mm-hmm.
You know that?
And he can just stew. I don't care. I mean, I think if he were to come backstage after a concert and congratulate me, I first place wouldn't know who he is. But if he introduced himself as my father, I'd shake his hand and go on to the next person.
Really?
He'd be lucky. I shook his hand. Honestly.
You're a tough customer.
No, I'm a marshmallow underneath.
Non-vibrato now, new color.
This was Nadja about 5 years ago, after having dropped out for several years. In the late 70s, she barely touched the violin. But under the guidance of the Juilliard School's Robert Mann and Dorothy DeLay, who coached Yitzhak Perlman, she won the prestigious Nuremberg International Competition, and with it, a Carnegie Hall debut.
passionate, she's quick, she's brilliant. She has no patience for anything that she thinks is not sensible or to the point. 10 years, if things go beautifully, she may be at the absolute top.
For now, it's the endless road trip. Another flight from another airport to another town for another show. This date is the annual festival in Aspen, Colorado, a town that idles away the summer with concerts and excess while waiting for the first snowflakes. But the surroundings matter little to Nadja. The best thing about this stop, like all other stops, is she gets to play the violin. She gets an audience.
There are people out there. They're out there. They got babysitters, you know, so that they could be there. Probably had to cut their dinner short. I don't care where it is. Stage is stage.
You think that generally the audience is pulling for you? They're on your side?
Yes. Sometimes it's not so. Rarely, but sometimes it's not so.
What are those vibes like?
Prove yourself. See what you can do.
Can you turn them around, too?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I can.
You are a real star.
Persuading an audience is one thing. Quite another is surviving in a profession dominated by men. From the impresarios to the conductors to other soloists to the orchestra members. Most of the time there's no problem, but occasionally, she admits, there are men who want more than her music.
I've never experienced anything like, do this or you won't play here again.
But the assumption is that impresario X or conductor Y enjoys the perks of that position with the soloist if she happens to be a woman, or even occasionally a man.
Occasionally. Yeah, that's true. I can tell you that it's happened to me a few times, this sort of situation, and I've handled it accordingly to that, to those circumstances. It depends on the person, it depends on the situation. It depends on how long it is before you have your flight out of town. It depends on a lot of things.
My great pleasure to officially welcome Miss Nadja Salerno-Sonnenberg.
I like to get along with everybody I'm working with. Everybody from the conductor to the concertmaster, the guy who opens the door backstage so you can walk out. Everybody.
And she does. Conductor Michael Tilson-Thomas.
She's just like a kind of embodiment of music. I don't have a strong feeling about her on stage as saying, I am a woman on stage, I am whatever. I just feel that she's on stage saying, I am the music. She is the music.
It's a powerful feeling. I wish I could be as convincing when the fiddle's not under my chin. Effective. Like about an hour after it's over, after you see the sign autographs, after the reception, you always go back to your hotel room alone. It doesn't last.
Really?
Yes. Honestly. But then I feel, as much as I love to play and make music, if somebody were to tell me right now that that's all you're going to have and you will never feel fulfilled other than on stage, I would be very, very, very sad. It's not enough for me. It won't be enough for me in the future. Just to play the violin.
About kids and all of that?
Someone to come home to and stuff, sure. I'm worried, but I'm trying. I'm worried because at first I thought it was just a matter of time, not having the time to find the balance. And now it's also a matter of exhaustion and time. And I don't want that to happen. I'm working on it.
At one point, on successive nights, Detroit, Toronto, Corning, Potsdam, Poughkeepsie, Morristown, New York City, College Park, Richmond, Washington, Greenville, and West Islip, in as many nights.
The only good thing about that is that I will play the violin every night. That's it.
Tonight, it is the Great Woods Festival in Mansfield, Massachusetts, and a date with Mendelssohn, the Pittsburgh Symphony, and conductor Tilson-Thomas. And for half an hour at least, Nadja Salerno-Sonnenberg will be in control. She'll have her stage and her audience, and she'll make them feel what she feels through the only voice she needn't qualify or explain.
That instrument is my tool for being able to say whatever I want, however deeply I feel it, without anybody telling me you can't do that, not when I'm on stage. On stage, I say whatever I want, and I say it however I want, and they listen to it, and they like it, and sometimes they stand up and thank me.